Hello from Cozumel, Mexico. Cozumel is an island across from the Yucatan Peninsula and across from the famous Cancun resort area. It's a popular stop for many cruise lines and it's often overrun by tourists. Today, there are 5 cruise ships in the port. We're 2 retirees hooked on travel. Follow us on our journeys around the world. Looking for what to do and how to spend your day in port? It's a challenge. You're there for 8 hours or so, and it sure helps being familiar with the destination. Across from Cozumel is Playa del Carmen. We've been to Playa del Carmen a few times and we're really familiar with the area. On this trip though, we're going to go to Chichen Itza. Before I show you the tour to Chichen Itza, I want to show you a few great experiences that we had in Playa del Carmen. Of course you can stay in Cozumel, there's plenty to do. There are ferries running between Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, and the ride is 45 minutes. And I'll give you a tip. When you get on the ferry, get in the back of the ferry. It's always a better ride, than on the front. But the crossing, every time I've done this crossing, it's been pretty rough, so be prepared. If you get seasick, take some pills, but watch the horizon, which I do. For the best experience, rent a car or use a colectivo. There are many buses that are well marked. You can grab one right across from the ferry terminal. They run along the main road to Tulum. For a few dollars and 45 minutes later, you're there. Simply get on it and pay the driver. The Mayan ruins of Tulum are perfectly located above a quaint, beautiful beach. After you explore the site, just take the stairs down to the beach. South of the ruins, you have one of the longest beaches I have ever seen. You can also find a beach club with a relaxing day at the beach. On your way back from Playa del Carmen, stop at 1 or 2 of the cenotes. This is an incredible experience. Visiting the cenotes, it was the highlight of all my visits to this area. Of course, you could stick around Playa del Carmen. There's numerous white sand beaches, cold cervezas, and make sure you order the handmade guacamole at your table. Another fun place is the Allure restaurant. It's located in a cave, and you can have a great intimate lunch or dinner. Today we're heading to Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza is located in the middle of the jungle. It's a long-ass drive. The view never changes from the jungle. Once there, it's obvious that all of the cruise ships, all of the hotels in the Riviera Maya had tours arriving there. I mean, it was shocking. Well, it's unreal how many buses there are. There was probably 100 buses back there parked, and now they're lined up for a mile. This is insane. I just think they're overdoing it. I've never seen anything so crowded. Tourism. What's happening is they take a beautiful place and they let it get overran and they destroy it. Look at the people coming out of the buses. It's it's kind of sad. So we're just trying to get in and there's, I don't know, 30, 40 busloads of people. And you have to stay with your guide or you get totally lost. And Kukulkan means the main god of the Mayas. It's a really cool sight. The pyramid, it's magnificent. Once you're there, you stand in front of the pyramid while the guide reads off his book and shows you pictures. Then you go to the ball court. He shows you pictures and explains the game. Then you go next to a temple where they talk about how they sacrificed women, babies, and enemy warriors. So the Mayan calendar has 18 months because they use 20 days for the month. So there's 18 platforms and there's 5 special days. That's pretty cool. It was really interesting because they sacrificed girls with the first period and they took babies and they threw them in too. And inside that, there's a 50-meter deep cenote of the water and they just throw them in. This temple in front of me is where they actually sacrificed the men and the warriors, the enemy, and they actually decapitated them and they broke their spine and then bled them and everything. It was pretty brutal.
Throw the head down the stairs.
Oh yeah, and then they threw the head down the stairs. It was incredibly brutal. They burned the body for the messenger to the gods. And you pretty much have to have a tour guide, 'cause otherwise you don't really know what's going on, but they educate you on what the Mayans did, why they lived here, how they sacrificed each other, and about the calendar. And they definitely believed in reincarnation. They believed in the afterlife, and they believed in heaven, and they believed in hell. And so it's interesting. Here he's actually showing us a picture where they used to compress the baby's skulls, and that deformed their skull to make them look like an alien. The ball court here is the biggest one out of all of the Mayan sites in Central America. At the end of the game, the captain of the winning team is sacrificed and he's beheaded by the captain of the losing game. So he played hard to win so he could go to heaven. So to sum it up, the 45-minute tour is basically standing in the middle, looking at the temple, and there's not enough time to learn about it or to appreciate what was going on there. You need to spend 3 days really to see everything. I would have liked to have seen the cenote where they found numerous artifacts and human remains where women were sacrificed. And now we have to go to lunch. So we're going to drive over to lunch, have an hour at lunch, and then another 2.5 hours back to the ferry and another 45 minutes. So, and they have to rush you out because there's so many people, they got to rush the next group in. And there's lots of groups waiting, just waiting their groups to get in. So it's not what I expected. The lunch was okay, and we actually ended up spending twice as long here as we did at the actual Mayan site. Merry Christmas from Chichen Itza, Mexico. So there's 10 buses and there's 50 people per bus. So that's 500 people right here. They hosted us for lunch. They did a great job. It's shocking. So we're all world cruisers. This is us. It's kind of neat. We're all crazy. We're all doing the bucket list tour. Time is running out. We have a lot of countries to see, places to go, things to see. People are pulling over because you can't drive. That's the tropics. It's December, still the rainy season. But that's brutal. Hopefully by the time we get to the ferry, there won't be any more rain.
We'll find out.
Oh, man. Back in Playa del Carmen, heading to the ferry, you get a glimpse of how cool it is here, but there's no time to stop for anything. You can sure tell there's a major storm coming in. Well, it took us 4 hours to get back to the ship. Well, we just got back from a long day on our tour and we're tired. It feels good to be home. And we came into the dining room and we're waiting for our dinner, a wonderful dinner. And then we're gonna go probably back to our rooms and crash and burn. We got up this morning at 4 o'clock because we're so excited we couldn't sleep. And so yeah, we're not gonna do a show tonight. We're gonna go back to our room and probably crash and burn. And then tomorrow we're gonna be at sea for 2 days for a rest. It'll be great. Our next stop, and after 2 days at sea, our next stop is in Aruba. So see you there. When we get to Aruba, we already have booked a buggy, like a 4-wheel buggy thing. And we're gonna ride that, we're gonna drive that around the island and tour the island on our own and stop and, do stuff, shop, have a drink, just enjoy the island on our own. It'll be fun. Well, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, and you can follow us on our journey around the world. We're on a 274-day Ultimate World Cruise. And so if you want to be notified on when we post our next video, just hit the notification bell and you'll get notified.